So we're talking ZvP.
Awesome.
Oh, I would like to. So I got three replays prepared, and my main problems are I'm opening roaches, like mostly like 41 drones,
Hmm.
lair, skip the spores, go directly to overseer after lair, and yeah, potentially roach speed as well. And from that point on, I'm producing roaches and links and see what Proteus is doing. So that's how far my game plan goes so far. So at the moment,
Okay.
and from
Um.
there on, I'm planless.
Okay. So we're kind of like just a standard macro roach opening. I mean, do we struggle with oracles a little bit since we haven't really mentioned the spores or scouting for that, or are you normally scouting? Do you
Yeah,
do you
that's a
just
different.
yeah?
Yeah, sorry for interrupting.
No,
That's
no,
that's a
continue.
different problem. So I'm talking mainly like Robo Twilight
Cool.
response here
Okay, we'll
because
just focus on that.
because
Focus on that branch
because
for today.
all right, because for Stargate that's a whole different topic and a different problem for me. I mean, I
Do
know
you
how
normally
to.
identify which one it is though early in the game, or are you surprised by the oracle coming into your base?
No, I'm so from our last coaching session we had some new overload paths, and these worked out quite well actually. So it
Awesome.
was fine for me. So I had enough time to go spores 340, wait until 430 with a roach warren, and focus more on droning until then.
Awesome. Well, that's awesome. The
So
fact
that
that that's all fresh in your mind and it's sticking there, that's really important, right? Because that's such a big thing, just that you've got that clearly split into two different branches. So, do
yeah,
you feel
exactly.
like you normally survive the early game okay? It's just like getting a little bit lost after that, that I'm building roaches, what do I do now? Like, is it we should really focus on that mid game plan, or what do you think?
We can. So I prepared a stalker. I think it's an all in. That I should normally be able to hold, but I couldn't hold this one, so I have it as a replay prepared, and I want to have your opinion on it. And yeah, then after we have checked that one out, we can I think define the next steps when I would potentially hold a two base attack from the Protoss.
Mm.
If you understand what I mean,
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean.
yeah, let's load it up and let's get straight into games and look at it. So I'm in chat channel Piggy Pigggy
Oh, I
on
forgot to. Yeah.
EU. So yeah, just hop in there and shoot me an invite, and then we can kind of look at
Uh,
that. We also want to
it's
obviously
it's join slash piggy or is it
yeah
slash join piggy?
forward slash join space Piggy Pigggy, and if that doesn't work, try forward slash join space pig. But I see ya. Shooting you an
Ah,
invite.
nice.
I'm going to make you the party leader. So you're going to need to watch with others. So you'll need to hop out of the replay lobby and then rehost it.
Okay.
So in the
Quit.
replays menu, there's a watch solo and then there's watch with others.
Yeah,
Just do watch with others and it should be good.
it's the quitting. Nice.
Awesome. All right. So
And
yeah,
I make you the host.
what do we want to focus on in terms of the mid game plan? Do we want to try to just go mutas every game, which is a really funky, fun style, like roachling, and then it's just you try to squeeze up that spire, and obviously if they're doing a giant attack, we just build more roaches and ravages and lings to survive, and then we swap into mutas at the first opportunity, and bounce around with them, and then just do big, ravagerling roach attacks while mutas are bouncing around their bases. Sometimes we mass mutas if they don't have stargates at all. That's one style. Ravagerling Bane is a really strong style. You get some really strong Ravagerling Bane attacks. And you can also use it very strong defensively and go up to fast Brood Lords. A bit more of an advanced style, but definitely something we can fit in at Diamond 2. There's also safety roaches, and then just kind of swapping back into that Hydraling Bane, which is like a mid-game forever style, which ends up being, a lot about, hey, let's dance with a mid-game army. I got Hydras and Banes rolling into this base. I got Banelings rolling into that base. I'm setting up my concaves. I'm spreading creep. I'm taking a fifth base, and I'm playing a long mid-game where it's just going to be like tons of mid-game fighting where micro becomes very important over the course of that game. I think these are the main styles. Oh, there's also lurker styles as well. There's so many styles we can pick in this matchup, but it's important to choose one that we want to focus on, or it's very hard to get there consistently. So what do you want to do?
Yeah, I like these ones that are more focused on stages. Because as I told you, like I'm going to 41 or 44 drones, then I got a roach timing, at least so for defense stuff. If I notice he's going on the third base, then I would, of course, try to drone up again and have the next stage included, So like going to
Yep.
55 drones or you name it.
I think we'll make sure we do that no matter what. Yeah, for sure. I think that's a really good way to make sure it's really clear in your head, so you know what to do at each step. So we can do that with each style to some extent.
Nice.
Which composition sounds the coolest? Not most effective. The one that sounds the most fun. Most fun. Yeah.
The Muta one.
Muta one. All right, let's do it, man. I love the Muta one. It's really fun.
I haven't.
Obviously, it's not as perfect, right? If they like really scout super well and they're good at reacting. But it's nice because it gives us a really clear, actionable plan. Now, some people would say this is a bit of a cheesier game plan. But you're doing it off a solid economy, so I would not call this cheesy. I would call it cheeky, right? Because mutas get hard counted more than any other unit, right? By Protoss stuff. But the fact that we can build a Spire, our Overseer sees them going 2-star Phoenix, and we just never build a Mutalisk, and we just do a normal Roach Ravager attack, and they're like, oh, my 5 Phoenix don't help against that. And we just kill them on the ground. There's all these cheeky things that we can do, but usually we don't even need to get that cheeky, and we can really start out with that. So let's go Roach, Ling, Muta. Now, basically, with that style, it's like we're trying to get out one wave of Mutas. What is the next plan? It's Roach, Ling, Ravager, try to kill him, right? Busts, never let them get a fourth, right? Never let them get a fourth. If we have to go a bit longer, we add melee, upgrades, and Banelings, right? So then it turns into Ravagerling Bane. It can turn into Ravagerling Bane off this style, especially if they're very charge slot heavy. But usually you want to try and finish it before there. But if we have to go longer, we at least have a step for that. So let's take a look here at this game and let's just start breaking it down, looking at what you're doing. I'll just kind of take the reins for a second. So it looks pretty good so far. Overlord's coming through. I mean, we don't know exactly what tech it is just yet. Unless he's going 2-star Phoenix, this is what we call a terrible Stargate, because he's dropped that at the same time as an Oracle could be, getting halfway across the map. So it's such a late Stargate, and this is what this tells me is if he's at Diamond 2 on the EU ladder, your opponent's actually really good at fundamentals, just has a shit build. And that's both scary because it's intimidating because it's someone who might have been GM in Wings of Liberty or something, right? Like it might be a really experienced RTS player who just doesn't know anything about the current meta or what builds are efficient, but they might be really good mechanically. And already they've done some decent adept usage here. We see some decent handling, and they were building their probes very consistently. They're freezing up a little bit on it now, kind of messing up a little, but this is just interesting because you are going to be playing against a very different style from your opponent here. And you're trying to scout, and you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Well, it's hard to scout when they're not actually doing anything, right? He's literally made 0 moves in this game, other than a light adept pressure, followed by a light adept pressure. So it's hard for you to read exactly what's happening. But let's take a look. You're building 4 more Lings for map vision, and we're massively supply blocked. Huge mistake, right? We were clearly banking money for our Roach Warren to finish so we could build Roaches to be super safe. Like very, very safe you're playing here. And then not having those Overlords is pretty huge. So that's definitely a little unfortunate. Would be nice if our third base was just rallied to itself, by the way, rather than rallying workers back to our natural, just because it seems to like waste a bit of mining time. So a little tip there.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm gonna start typing things up.
I also think I loaded up the wrong replay, but it's okay to watch this one as well.
Yeah. Okay, no worries. I mean, this is the StarCraft thing. I was making fun of everyone on the newbie stream the other day because literally everyone sent in the wrong replay. Got to label those replays. You can just right-click it in your replay folder and give it a name.
I got that. I think.
And you still messed it up.
Yeah. I'm the super stupid.
Well, you're like, yeah, you're smart. You're smart stupid. It's the best kind. Okay, so big supply block on 50. So I mean, obviously, if that's like a habit, we would go deeper on that. I'm not going to bother for now. But if we see something like that happen, or your opening just not be that crisp multiple times, we'd go and be like, okay, why aren't we being crisp? Why are we forgetting overlords? What's distracting us? Like, what are we getting confused by? Are we staring at our overlords too much? Are we feeling like, oh, I don't know what's happening. What could be happening? What could be happening? Like, you know, basically just try to be like, wait, why am I freaking out so much here? I do want to be a bit critical. I think this first overlord you sent in, when you first sent that in, you could have just queued it, right? You could have been like, scout main, scout natural, just in case. You're so used to it getting killed by this point that you're like, wait, what? It's still there? But you absolutely could have, you know, gone and done some stuff with that. So I think definitely, you know, just fly through the whole base would be totally fine here. So you're building a ton of roaches right now, 41 drones, right? We're going up to like 15 roaches, which is kind of crazy safe without droning at all anymore, right? Often I would build like 8 roaches if I don't know what's happening. Build another round of drones, and then be like, maybe build some more roaches, then maybe drones, roaches. But I'd be like, you know, pretty eager on trying to figure out what the hell is happening in the game, right?
Okay.
So
yeah.
You are now droning, so it's good to see. You do still have that urgency of like, hey, let's drone and stuff. You've got enough roaches out that you can definitely go and deny a third. But yeah, let's take a look here. So the problem for you is you don't have a game plan from here. And I think we're going to see that very soon. Oh man, and we keep rallying drones from all of our hatcheries, right? We keep rallying drones back to our main. So there's a habit there where you'll like build drones, click on the minerals. I think that's what's happened, right? Because we keep seeing drones rally from your third back up. So let's look at these drones. You're going to build drones at your third base and natural in a second. So watch this. And then, yeah, you manually click them to your main base.
Oh, yeah.
That was super weird.
That's true. It's because it's oversaturated as well.
Yeah.
Usually I do it when I see that's only missing 2.
You build 2 drones, manually click them up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's not a bad
okay,
move.
This
was a weird one. I think, and if you do want to take it to the bonus level, obviously it depends how fast you are, click that actual hatchery and build separately, right? Is what I'll do. I'd be like, oh, or like I'd build drones on all my hatcheries, and then I'd like control click the eggs in my main, and then I'd click them on the minerals. Obviously, if it's just 2 drones, I don't mind you just not even knowing where they're coming from. Maybe they end up from the third. Maybe they end up from here. You don't know, right? You're just like, let's click 2 of these drones on the minerals and then build the rest of the drones. That would be another way of doing it. But this was just, yeah, a little bit odd because our third base is still not saturated. It's getting close to 6 minutes. It's very late in the game. The way we get ahead and just win easy ZvP, the faster we saturate that third and survive off that third fully mining for a minute, that's how we get ahead and just swamp Protoss players. That's what they're afraid of, but we're not threatening that at all in this game, right? Only now at the 6-minute mark plus are we finally getting to that point. So that's definitely something where we want to look at this and say, hey, wait a second, we didn't press any advantage here. So like we get to see everything now. Your opponent, like I said, is doing an appallingly bad build order. He's massing shield batteries on 2 base, building terrible units, unupgraded stalkers, sentries, a single Void Ray, a single Phoenix, like a single Oracle. There's just nothing here that's good, right? But we haven't pressed that advantage that I was talking about, right? So this is the sort of game where we get to see if we're a bit uncomfortable in the matchup, right? If we're like, I don't know what's happening, so I'm going to freak the hell out. So I think let's go back and let's try and rehearse. In the absence of anything else happening, what should our path be, okay? Opening when we don't know what the fuck is happening. All right, step 1. Let's say 10 roaches for safety, okay? So 10 roaches off 41 drones. Then let's say drone to 55, right? And then let's say 10 more roaches. And then drone to 66, okay? Now, actually, if they don't have a third base, maybe we should just stay on 55, right?
Okay.
Assuming there's a third base, right? From toss, we drone to 66, but otherwise it's just more unit production. So 10 more roaches, and probably off 55 drones we could go an Evo chamber as well would be pretty nice, right? I think, or in our case we don't need an Evo chamber. We'd just go straight Spire. 10 more roaches plus Spire because we're going to try and get Mutas out. Okay, awesome. I think that's great. Plus Spire, plus 5th gas. So we do want to get 1 gas on the third base because we're going to try and go Mutas. So maybe even the 6th gas can slide in there, but we're not going to like force ourselves to go the 6th gas. That's going to be like if we feel safe, right? We don't want to be like, oh, I'm going 6 gas, and you know he's on 41 probes and he's coming across the map with immortals and charge lots. Like that gas is not important, right? But I think this is kind of a better plan because if we think about it, well, the supply block was big, but we would have built just 10 roaches instead of 15. We would have already been up to 50 drones a bit earlier. And then we'd be building, up to 55 drones by this point. Then we'd build more roaches and we'd scout around. But we'd just be sitting on that. And if you think about it, 2 bases fully saturated. How many workers is just that, your main and natural at full saturation?
44.
Yeah, so 55 would be like about 10, 11 workers on our 3rd base, which is most of the minerals saturated, right? It's a really good boost to your mineral income. So that gives you that advantage I was talking about, where it's like, hey, Protoss, you better come do something to me because I'm mining way more money than you are. That's what gives you that big advantage, where you can kind of comfortably tread water and just be like, I'll just keep massing units now. I don't know exactly what he's doing. Let's keep sending overseers in and try to figure out what's happening and see if we need to counter it. But hey, my Spire's on the way. I'm making lots of roaches. I'm making lots of Zerglings. Obviously, you can swap into even heavier Zergling production. And then if it turns out there's a big scary attack, you don't build Mutas. You just build extra Ravagers with all the gas you've banked up. But your Zerglings can backstab and pick off units that are reinforcing across the map if they're not all in a big ball. Lots of cool things we can do there. And in this game, yeah, Mutas would have been pretty amazing. If we could build 7 Mutas right about now, that'd be awesome. Just fly in, do some damage, force him to build Phoenix, which are a kind of shitty unit. And we could go a 4th base, and we could swap into other stuff if we really needed to. But Ravager-Ling Bane would win this game. Sorry?
When he stays on 2 bases, then I would stay at 44 drones, or
no, 55.
Still, okay.
Yeah. Because you build the initial
after
10...
the safety rows.
You see the list, right? That I wrote in the document?
Yeah. No, I don't. I'm in the replay, so I
Oh, sorry. You only have 1 monitor, right? Do you want to get your phone out? Get your phone out and get it open on your phone, and that way, if you can, that way you can glance at it just so you can see. Because I'm writing it out in clear dot point form, which makes it much easier for you to understand stage. So get that open, and I'll just keep looking through here and see what happens. And now he's going double forge at 8 minutes. This is insane. This guy's a madman. If he wins this game, it's purely Protoss' Imba. So Imba if he wins.
Yeah, you will see how I can lose games.
Well, you just built 70 drones, but you did it like really late. So this is very common. Yeah. And now you're building Queens and Aspire. We didn't even see him moving across. What's going on? Why are we building units? What's happening, Michael? No! Why are we building Zerglings? Zerglings aren't bad. Get down there! Why are we up here? No. Go kill him. His force fields... you still win this game, surely. Unless...
Nope.
No? You're going to waste all your vials on his army, right? You're not going to save any for the force fields. That's what's going to happen here. No.
I'm not really attacking, and so I'm just losing.
Yeah. Okay, so
step by step.
the way Ravagers win games is by actually fighting your opponent. So the biggest mistake that happened here is, like, number 1, why is our army up there? Number 2, why do we have no units on the map, right? If someone builds a Void Ray, it can be a little annoying, but we should have gone and ran a Zergling around the right-hand side. You see where my signals are?
Yes.
Should have sent them around the right into these spots. This Zergling on the left also shouldn't be there. It should be down a little bit, so we actually see an attack moving out that way. But other than that, it's like, okay, you going up to 70 workers is not the worst thing in the world. Don't get me wrong. That's not the end of the world. You're trying to go Hydras here as well. All you needed to do is just keep spending your money here. If you just built more Roaches and Hydras, that would be fine. And then if you see him moving out at any point, you need to go intercept that. Because Ravagers are all about... They're a unit that does like a fighting retreat. You know, they're kind of like a guerrilla warfare unit almost, where it's like you throw biles, you set up a concave, and then you pull back. And then you throw biles, and you set up a concave, you throw a volley or 2, you pull back. Because if you do that out here, they're going to try to have to use force fields. They're going to be walking through corrosive bile. They're going to have to pull back to dodge corrosive bile. You can buy a crazy amount of time with Ravagers, but we were a little bit slow to react, and we also didn't, and then we put ourselves back in a choke point. We want to be engaging him out here in the open. We don't want to pull back up a ramp. That's really bad for us. We also built Zerglings, but we've got a ton of money. Zerglings are not a bad unit against Stalkers and Sentries. They're just not the right unit. If you've got a lot of money, you want to build your most expensive unit, right?
Yeah, Hydras. I had to build Hydras. Yeah, that's what I thought when I watched the replay yesterday. I also, why are you building Zerglings? Yeah.
The other thing you could do here is, he's on 2 base. Like you haven't seen a 3rd. Like maybe he's got a 3rd finished now, barely, but he's on 2 base. So you can pull that entire drone line on your 3rd, and they would tank a crazy amount of damage, and you would lose no fighting units. Like, this army of his is so weak. It has nothing. No damage output. It's just bad. It's a bad army. So this is one of these funny situations where we just kind of got surprised by this push, got shit scared, and we're just not fighting it properly. Not bad biles, not amazing biles. Okay. Biles all off cooldown, which is really bad there. Yeah, always save at least 1 or 2 biles for the force fields. And this is the ramp, right? We trapped ourselves up a ramp for no reason. Those drones, you always want to pull drones in against stalkers in general because they're great at tanking. But even against other units, they're just really good for, you know, making sure our damage dealing units stay alive. Like if we pulled back up this ramp, we never should have gone down this ramp. So the problem here is twofold. You pulled back up the ramp, which meant you needed to wait for him to come up to you. But then you went down to him repeatedly, which is the worst thing you could do. If you went down there, it would have made a massive difference. And that would have been huge. If we kept pulling back here, it would have been huge. If you kept injecting and spending your money during this, it would have been huge. Look at your bank, right?
Yeah.
So I think our injects in the lead up to that were also kind of sloppy. Because why didn't we have more lava? Let's take a look. So we built a lot of extra queens here. I guess because our other queens are spreading creep or something like that. Let's take a look.
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, a little bit odd. Your 4th base was very late as well, right? So 4th base would have just given us a bit more lava. But we are missing quite a few injects here. And you've queued up actually like so many queens. What's going on with the queen production? Why are we building so many queens? What's that for?
I don't know. I'm to be honest, I don't know.
Yeah, queen.
Maybe because I was just. It must be a panic move.
Because it wasn't you didn't even know the attack was coming, and you'd already started queuing up those queens. So there was something with don't build queens. Basically, if you want 1 extra queen for creep, that's fine. But you don't want to be building queens later in the game, right? They're good for transfusing broodlords, and that's just about it. Don't get me wrong, they're great in the early game for tanking damage, but we're at 8 minutes plus at this point. We don't want to be building queens this late, right? They're not going to have a whole 5 minutes of transfuse energy built up that makes them a good tanky defense unit. We've got so much money, it's just about building other stuff. So this felt like a game where we just had no direction, right? It's really easy to lose games from just not building units and setting your army up in a terrible position if we don't have a game plan. Now you've got a Muta game plan. By this point, you would have hit his base with Mutas, and behind that, you would have just kept massing Roachling Ravager. You would have engaged further out. This would have been the easiest game of your life. Even as it was, if you'd engaged him out here with this army, you kill him, dude. Queens in front with that much transfuse, Ravagers behind. Holy shit, this is actually like the perfect army against him. He gets no bonus damage versus Queens. It's actually insane how good Queen Ravager is here. So we would have had it for sure. So this was a bit of a silly loss, but it just shows our lack of kind of game plan there. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to hop into another one, or should we just dive straight into practice game, kind of looking
let's do it.
Okay, let's do that. So if there's anyone in chat who can help us out, please do hop on EU server chat channel Piggy or Pig /join space pig. Just type that in your chat. Don't go into your silly groups menu. I hate that shit. It annoys me. What maps are staying in the map pool next season? I think Ephemeron is. So maybe host up like Ephemeron. I think Triton's staying as well. And I think Winter's Gate. So host up one of those maps because they'll still be around next season. And if you just custom.
Did you say Ephemeron?
Yep. Ephemeron, Winter's Gate, and
okay.
Triton are the 3 maps that I think are staying.
Okay.
I'm not a sound expert, Rockies. If you need help, please ask someone else. Just make me the ref. Have we got anyone? Guys, Diamond 2. Diamond 2 is who we need. I think we'll practice the first one to no opponent. Just to kind of go through the steps.
Okay, so I'm starting.
Yeah, if you want, you can put a very easy Protoss AI. Like, economic-focused, easy AI. Do that. And that'll be nice. Yep, go for it. So we should have someone in. I mean, we'll just do this to the 5-6 minute mark because obviously there'll be no interruptions. So we'll macro pretty damn hard as happens when there's literally nothing distracting us. Yeah, we'll see how we go. All right. So standard build order, we just want to drone a little bit harder off the back of those roaches. We're going to imagine it's a Robo Twilight type opening. Drone up to the 55 drones. Nice and hard. I guess, actually, you know what? We'll add the 5th gas with droning to 55 rather than with the Spire. A little bit earlier. And then we'll start more roaches and Spire. Yeah. And, of course, if you ever get surprised or you see a big all incoming, you can always cancel Spire. You can always, you know, not build Mutalisks. If our opponent's really all-inning us, Muta's not very important. All we need is more Roaches, more Ravagers, more Lings. Those are the units that keep us alive. And, yeah, do really well. But for now, just focus on your build order. Try to hit it nice and tight. And I will shut up until I am ready to whisper in your ear. But for the most part, do your normal build order. After the 10 Roaches, we will drone another 15 or so drones, add a 5th gas geyser, and then drop the Spire and go back into unit production. Good luck, man.
Thanks.
So I'm going to start writing a set of notes here, guys. So Protoss has fast third and is probing, plus adding, you know, Forge, Templar archives, etc. Basically, lots of macro investment equals focus more on Lings, faster gases, harder droning, faster 4th base, so we can get a bigger initial wave of Mutas across the map, right? So that's part of the flexibility that will initially happen with this style. Now, likewise, more aggressive investment. You know, few of the above tells equals more Roaches, more Ravages, more Ravages as they push, and always ready to cancel Spire or not even build the Mutas until after we hold the push. That's kind of the dichotomy we're going to find with this style. There's an inherent amount of flexibility there, and we will mess that up when we start out with it. We'll get better. I look like a white skater boy. Why, thank you. What's a good build order for Terran? I like Bio, says Meton. What matchup? What's your skill level? What's your experience? Give us some more info, my friend. If you're gold, silver, bronze, silver, gold, low plat, you can probably just use the beginner opening, ! beginner. Or you can, or ! welcome actually is the more, it's pretty much the same build, but that's the more recent video on it. You can also just, you know, look up my ! builds, 2-on-1, timeless classic. If you're keen on that medevac marine control and getting better at that, but yeah, the Welcome to StarCraft series has like a real friendly opening that actually is generally built around making it so your mistakes aren't as harsh. You miss up a little depot here or there, it's not as bad. You were plat 1 before? Yeah, 2-on-1 or the beginner build is really useful, Meton. The big thing that you can focus on to give yourself a nice direction is just do a 5 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport, 2 base all in. Stop building SCVs at 40, 45 and just go up from there. And guys, that 50 supply block, it's a habit. Wasn't just a one-off replay. So we know that's a habit now. This is the advantage of me not whispering in his ear and just letting him do his thing. I get to identify 50 supply block. Again. Okay, we need a trigger. We need a trigger to remember these overlords. And I'll let him come up with that trigger. I don't want to tell him what that trigger is. I think the best triggers are the ones we come up with ourselves. Has he got an observer? Oh my god, it's got an observer to spot the high ground. That's so funny. So he's building about 6 roaches right now. What's going on, dude? Why are we not building stuff right now? A few more roaches.
Our forces are under attack.
Overlords. Remember, should always be overlords at the end of every production cycle. Every production cycle, you save the last few lava for overlords. If you don't do that, you make a mental note 10-15 seconds later when a bunch of lava have popped out. You once again tap your hotkey, queue up as many overlords as you can. Your production's getting out of control, so get that going. Now that you're droning up to 55, we need a few more drones. So, you know, we need about 7-8 more drones. And what do we do as we're going up to 55? Spire. Spire. Yeah. Sometimes you can like hide that underneath a bunch of overlords and it's nice. Lots of different things. Guys on gas on the 3rd. And remember, building more units. So, at this point, we're going to pause real quick.
Okay, yeah.
Have you got the
Supply
document
block
open on your
Act
phone?
50. Yes, I do now. Yeah.
Awesome. So, if you see where I've got notes highlighted, just at the bottom of the first page.
Yeah, got it.
So there's 2 situations at this point. 5:30, 6 minutes, somewhere around here. We're at 55 drones. We're at this stage. Now, if they're probing, so say there's a 3rd base, you see probes running to it. Maybe an overseer goes through. We haven't done an overseer scout yet this game. Ooh, that's bad. We should have done an overseer scout, right? Same as if we're playing a normal game. Should have done that as soon as we did Roach speed. Let's imagine we just saw a Forge, a Templar Archives, a second Robo, right? All these, like basically, these are all signs of macro, right? Forges, extra tech structures, probes, Nexus. We see all that. We can keep droning here, right? We can go 66 drones, take a 4th base, take a 6th gas. And not just that, we won't build Roaches. There's no fear of an attack. We would only be building Zerglings beyond the drones because we want to save the gas for a big wave of mutas, right? Because we know we've got time.
Okay.
Now, what
That's
if there's...
at the stage where that's at the stage where I'm going to 55 drones and I see, okay, they got defensive buildings or macro buildings and so on. Then I decide, okay, I'm going even more up to 66.
Exactly. So what's the easiest tell there, whether they're going aggressive or macro? What's the biggest thing that you can always spot very easily?
The 3rd.
Absolutely, the 3rd. So that's the first thing. So when you start doing this build, you're probably going to base your information off that, right? Because you're still getting used to the build order a little bit and going for mutas. So you'll be like, oh, he's got a 3rd. I'll drone up more. And sometimes it's a fake 3rd and you'll get killed, but you won't care, right? Because you're focusing more on execution when you start, right? We're not, you know the order of learning, right, Michael? Step 1, learn our build. Step 2, learn how to react, right? So it's okay to just die to shit because we misread the situation. We'll get better at our scouting as we go, right? So we might just focus on that. But then as we get better, we go, oh, actually, I know that's a fake because he's not building any more probes on the other bases. They're actually looking pretty light on saturation. There's no probes rallying out. The lights aren't flashing on the Nexus. There's no Forge. I see 8 gateways and no Forge, no Templar Archives. Oh, shit, he's coming to kill me. All right, let's prepare. We'll get better at that as we go. But what's important for now is like, okay, he's being economic. Drone hard, Zerglings rather than Roaches, straight into a big wave of mutas, right? Or he's being aggressive, which means more Roaches. We stay at 55 drones if there's no 3rd, or if they're not probing up that 3rd, we just stay here, build more Roaches. We don't need to save a lot of gas for mutas. We just need to survive, okay? So those are the 2 kind of branches, the 2 modes that we get into at this stage. So for this one, let's practice the economic one. We've seen a 3rd, we've seen a Forge, we've seen a Templar Archives. So close your eyes and I want you to visualize. So you've just spotted a 3rd, you've seen a Forge, you've seen a Twilight. Try to play this through in your head. What do you think are the next few things you want to focus on? What are your next goals?
In my opinion, it would be a macro cycle and adding an Evo chamber and building mutas. So okay, going to 66 drones before that.
Yep, 66 drones. Yep. Awesome. So 66 drones. Let's ignore the macro cycle for now. Though that's really good that you mentioned that because that is obviously the first thing we do when we unpause. Let's just make sure our macro is good. 6th gas will have to go down and a 4th base as well, right? 4th hatchery. If we're going up to 66 drones, we're playing. We still want to try and get a base ahead or so. So that'll be great. Awesome.
Okay. On this map, as it stays in the map pool, my 4th would be the at 6 o'clock one.
That's what I would go for. Some people go for the one right above it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm asking. I'm always not that sure on that map.
It's really your call. The forward one still has wide open areas in front of it, so it's definitely something you can defend, but it's closer for them to push. The other one, of course, has the narrow bridges which are a bit awkward, and it's also a bit further away from your push path. So if you're attacking, a zealot backstab there buys a lot of time for your opponent. It's really annoying. Personal preference, I would prefer the back one. In general, I'm saying I'm Zerg. I'm going Mutalisks. We don't want to expand towards our opponent. We're going Mutalisks. just in case
Okay,
we do
that
go.
makes sense.
If we end up in mass muta, like it doesn't matter if you've only gone 7 mutas, you're still basically a Roachling player. You're fine. But if you do end up going mass muta because you see an opportunity for it, and then your bases are like towards your opponent, it's obviously pretty bad. You're like, oh no, we need to be prepared for a base trade at all times with Mutalisks, right? Awesome, man. So okay, so we've spotted some macro. Let's drone up here to 66 plus drones. Get the extra gas, guys. Take a 4th base, and let's continue this. You ready?
Wait. What
Yep.
what was after this macro part? So after the 66 drones, all gas is saturated and 4th base.
Yeah.
That's then the Muta button comes.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
what's
Yes.
afterwards?
And you're not building any more roaches. That's like the difference, right? We're not spending gas on roaches and ravages because we're not worried about being attacked. So if we want to build
Okay.
units, only zerglings for now.
Okay, let me just write that down.
Go for it.
Okay,
Awesome.
all right. Yeah. Yes, I am.
3, 2, 1. There we go.
Game resumed.
Ah,
When do you start the Roach Warren in ZvP, says Bob? A generic timing would be about 4 minutes, but it really depends on your league. You want to make sure you have at least 2 mineral lines saturated. So 2 mineral lines at least at 16 workers before you go for your Roach Warren is the general rule. However, it can be a lot later
Okay,
if you're up
17,
against
sorry.
Stargate, and it can be a little bit earlier if you're up against like a very fast Robo or Twilight build. But if you want a generic timing for now, about 4 minutes is like a not bad way to measure it. So like, let's put down a Roach Warren at 4 minutes. And you can also drop the gases on the 4th straight away with this sort of build just to make sure they go down, since a bit of gas can be good, but really varies. Awesome. So Muta button will come soon. So you saw
Is
an
it this
observer in your
many?
base, by the way. So one thing you can do is you can try to like patrol the overseer area, or kind of hunt around for it a little bit. I remember in the old days of Legacy, I would always patrol an overseer between my 3 main bases. And I would always catch observers coming in and trying to look at my production. And I was like, haha. But that's cool. So mutas can go around the edge. And I like the idea of just one wave of mutas. Rally them up to get ready to dive in. Behind this, start getting +1 range or +1 melee. I would say +1 range, because you're going to try and follow up with a big Roach Ravager all in, right? So from here, it's like just Roaches, Ravagers, Lings, and we're going to try to, after the mutas bounce around a little bit, do just a big ground attack. And that's the easiest way to finish the game. So when you start, always just do Muta Wave, Mass Roach Ravager Ling on 3 base, try to kill him. And usually you can pull enough units and put enough money into cannons, shield batteries, Phoenix, all these things which are stalkers, things which are really bad versus a Roach Ravager Ling attack, essentially. Especially if you pull their units apart, so they're across all 3 bases, and then your whole army just runs in and kills like 1/3 of their army. That's good. Mutas, get going, get going, get going. Come on, man. Come on, get him in there. So they could have been queued a lot closer to that base. Go, go, go. That has got to be an urgent thing there. And what you can do is, after you dive through a base, you can queue those mutas around a little bit, and then you can spend some more time macroing. But it's a very easy macro at this stage of the game. All right, bounce to another base. Let's imagine there's actually another. Yeah, normally you would bounce around the back of the natural, pick off probes there, then you would queue out. So yeah, I love the way you've queued them to a new attack angle. And in that meantime, you'd be like, macro, macro, macro. All right, make some ravages, and then, you know, micro your mutas as they get there, right? So you create these nice little pauses where you're like, okay, now my mutas are back in the attack zone. Micro them, micro them, micro them. And then you could pull them out, do some more macro. So obviously you've won this game, but let's imagine the game goes on. I want you to go home, transfer workers from your main. So let's go main base. Bam, down to the 4th. And what do we go? Evo chamber. Bane Nest. You can potentially get an Infestation Pit as well. Basically, we go, yeah. I mean, if we've got a lot of money, we go Infestation as well. But basically, we want to go melee upgrades, Bane speed, so it turns into Ravager Bane, and then we can go up to Broodlords.
Okay, so I need no updates for the spy. Or
It's up to you. That's your call. So you could go like just a +1, or I personally would not do any upgrades. I would say just one wave of somewhere between 8 and 12 or 8 and 14 Mutalisks, and then I would just I would never build more mutas as the basic game plan. But depending on the situations you find yourself in and the meta, you might find players are never getting Phoenix up. They're never getting Stargates up. Massing mutas might be a good game plan. But this is like a one-size-fits-all game plan that I've given you for now, which is just like, build one wave of mutas and you never build any more mutas after that. That's it. All right. Let's hop out and let's play a game against a human opponent. So guys, do we have a Protoss opponent in the chat? I really hope we do. If you do, please shout out in the chat channel. I didn't see any messages because we were in game, but if you guys are there, please shout out in the chat channel in game, not in my Twitch chat, but please Piggy or Pig in game. We got Sky9 says I'm a Diamond 1 Protoss in Twitch chat. Can you shout out in game so we can invite you? If you could host up another game, Michael.
Yeah, I do.
Be great. So Diamond 1, Diamond 3, anything like that's fine, guys. Any of those is all good. So what's really cool is this is a style where sometimes you'll get easy wins and sometimes you'll get bopped until you get a little bit better at reacting and adjusting. It's a little bit more of a flexible style than some of these other builds, but it's a really fun style. So I think as long as you stay focused with it and when things go right, don't be like, oh, I'm so good. Still watch the replay and check that you're actually playing safe and not being a greedy dickhead, because sometimes you're being a greedy dickhead, you get away with it. Mutas fly in and you win the game. You shouldn't be proud of that necessarily. You should be like, okay, I got a little bit lucky there. You know, we got away with something. All right. Same thing when it goes wrong. Try to analyze, okay, what did I misread? Why didn't I realize this was coming? You know, let's check it out. Doesn't look like anyone's here yet. So Sky9, Cliggity, either of you guys hopping on? EU server. Sorry, we forgot to mention that. /join Piggy. That's what you got to do, guys. /join Pig. And then be an awesome baller like Torvik, who is a Masters Terran who's offered to help. Says, hey, I'm probably around Diamond Protoss. I don't know. I can help you if no one else is here. We would rather a main Protoss player. Because I tell you what, Master Terran is going to micro his heart out and have terrible macro behind it. Just because that's off race in general. Someone who's higher level but off racing they will micro very well. They'll do very annoying things you're not used to dealing with, and you'll be like, what the fuck, this guy's so good. And then they'll have like just no spending or no upgrades behind it or something. There'll be some big gap in their play that's missing. So it's not terrible practice, it's just not the most useful. So we still haven't had anyone hop in chat channel. They're coming. Marakias says he's coming. I've seen someone else. There's people popping into the chat channel. There's clearly people joining. I don't know if they've figured out how to type in the chat yet. Let's see. Who's here to help us?
The timing for the buyer was after the 10 roaches, right?
Mm-hmm. Let me see.
Okay.
It's kind of as you're droning up to 55 plus 5th gas. Like I've written it as just kind of after that, but we can feel that out, that spire a little bit, right? So at the moment, it's not a particularly fast spire, but we might adjust that spire timing, okay? So I'm going to put that in the notes. We can adjust that spire to be ASAP and see if we get away with it, get away with it consistently. And it's not hard to do that, right? Because then if you do be like, oh shit, there's a big attack, you can always just cancel it. Like it's not the end of the world. It's just that's more flexibility, which is why I'm starting you with a slightly more conservative spire timing so that we're focusing on like solid economy plus roach defense and then going into mutas rather than being like, I'm just racing to mutas. Rah! We're trying to stage different stages, right? Different levels to make sure it's real clear. All right, Sky9 is in here. NA Diamond equals EU Gold, says Torvik. Thank you so much, Torvik, for offering. Thank you, Torvik. Cliggity can watch. I'll invite Cliggity and Torvik. If you guys want to watch, you can, but we starting ASAP. So Sky9's going to be the player who we throw in probably, unless he doesn't actually join the game.
No, it's Torvik. Okay. It's pending so long.
I put Cliggity up then, because it was meant to be Sky9, but Sky9's like, I think, disconnected or something. I don't know what happened to Sky9. Sky9 just disappeared. I'll try to invite Sky9 one more time. Cliggity, choose race. Clig, go toss. And we can go without Sky9 if he doesn't get in. I don't know what's happening with Sky9. Seems like he can't get in. He might be getting a lobby bug where he has to relog. Oh no, he's in.
Yeah.
Oh, Clickity's got to rebind hotkeys. Put Sky9 up. EU does not port over keys. If it's same PC, it 100% should. That's so weird. But yeah, basically, no problem. We'll use Sky9. Sky9, you set up, because it should drag from the same documents folder, assuming it's the same account. Surely it should drag from the same. Does it? Let me double check. Does it not? Yeah, I've got the exact same hotkey profiles. That's so... BNet is stupid, though. No, Clickety messed it up. All right, we'll just use Sky9 first, I guess. So good luck, guys.
Shall I start game?
Yeah. Clickety next game. All right, just don't want to waste your time, you know. Try to hurry it up.
It's
I'm
fine,
like, go, go,
it's
go, go,
fine.
go, 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 go. Sometimes it can take like 20 minutes to get a lobby going. I used to actually get so frustrated, and especially when I go back and play tournaments, I'm like, hurry the fuck up. Get in the lobby. You're pro players. Like, can we just play our games? People are like, "Rup, rup, 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 rup." They lose a game. They spend like 20 minutes just sitting there watching replay. I'm like, no, play your next game now. I get really frustrated. I'm like, man, just host the lobby. Go, go, go. I am an impatient boy. But for you, you are practicing a slightly new variation of the build order. Kick some ass, and let's just remember to build overlords. You're doing really good with your opening. You just need overlords. You keep forgetting to build 50 overlords. So, you know, that's...
I tried to bind it on the Roach Warren.
Yes. Yeah, if not before then. Good luck, man.
Okay.
Kick some ass.
Okay.
Kick some ass. Yeah, I feel like we should be going past 50 supply before we build our Roach Warren, but we'll see. Roach Warren might be a good trigger. Might be a good trigger. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's always better to have your overlords earlier rather than late, right? Oh my god, my wrist is all fucked up. I don't know if I like slept on it funny or what. My right wrist. Just woke up and it was a little bit sore. Oh. Alright. So he's going hatch, 18 gas. Oh, he accidentally built another drone. That was dumb. No, his pool's delayed. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's just a bit awkward. All your layers are under W. Is it automatically, and how can you set it up? All your hatcheries, Johnny out. No, I mean, that's like, if you want, you could do that. I mean... All your hatcheries, basically you can turn any key on your keyboard into a control group, Johnny up. You just need to go into your hotkey settings and change the control group. So normally it would be like control 1 to create control group 1. Well, you can change it so instead that's control W. But you also need to go through and change the keys for selecting it, stealing onto it, and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah. I mean, you can create any custom hotkey you want. Normally, you wouldn't do it with Control 1. Normally, you do it with Control 0, Control 9. Like, those really hard-to-reach keys are the ones that people tend to rebind. Caps Lock is a common key people use. W, if that's not being used. Q sometimes. There's a few different ones. Do I have this build anywhere? I mean, this is just the most standard ZvP opening. But you've got to remember that, like, I've done so many coaching sessions on my YouTube. And it's all about, you need to, first of all, actually scout properly to see if you're up against Stargate or Robo, which I don't think he's actually been doing consistently, but he does see Robo this game, so. I think he's just playing blind as if he's up against Robo Twilight, because he hasn't really been checking for it too much. He's just kind of going down this. Yeah, I've got lots of coaching sessions on it, mate, because I don't like to put up ZvP as a build, because it really depends on what you're playing against. So, I mean, I've gone over this in many coaching sessions. If you just search my YouTube for ZvP coaching, then we'll come up with it. So, he's building another Overlord, which is nice. But, like, why only one is my question. Also, why is this queen so late? What the fuck is happening this game? Why is this queen so late in the game? What's going... Why is this hatchery so early? Did he do that in his previous games? Did he go for the fast third hatch in the previous games and I just wasn't paying attention, guys? Can you please tell me? Does anyone know? 'Cause I feel like he went for a more normal time third hatch. It's a crazy fast Roach Warren. That's an insanely fast Roach Warren, guys. You're not playing against fucking Cyril here. Sky9's gonna all in him. It's a real fast 5 gates. He's cut probes. There's no Zerglings on the map right. Where are the Zerglings right now? They're all just chilling. Why do we have no map vision? Overlords and map vision. I need those Zerglings providing map vision. So your overlord just saw no gases on the third, and you also saw next to no probes there. So we should be
he's
like,
coming.
oh shit, he's coming. Big all in. Pull back your overlords. Build roaches, overlords. Roaches, overlords, roaches, overlords. Get your queens together, and you should be fine. Just react as if it's an all in, since, you know, no gases on the natural, no probes. You got this, man. Keep it going.
Our forces are
So he should have put his queens on a hotkey, guys. He's brought 2 of them to the front. That'll do. He can just A-move this in his easiest moment of his life. Oh. Yep, queens click on the prism. Other units kind of just go for a bit of a bit too much micro. I would have much preferred an A-move, personally. Okay, now, where are the other units at? Why is he not injecting or anything? What's he doing right now? Some really weird micro right now. He's not injecting. Did spend, okay. Just felt like he was staring a bit too much there. Yeah. Alright. So you can just A-move that. The more important thing is injecting and building overlords right now. More than anything, you need to use these 2 defense queens to keep up your injects in the midst of the fighting, because we're freezing up for no reason here. Yeah. Yeah. So if you want, you can pull back, or you can just keep A-moving, but the important thing is keeping up your production while holding onto an attack. So basically, you don't want to chase off creep usually. You want to just A-move, pull back on creep. A-move, pull back on creep. Just keep producing, keep injecting, and keep pulling further back. You can pull behind your hatchery. So a big problem most players have is they try to fight in front of their base. No need. Just keep waiting for units here. We'll be fine. You've got lots of gas, so you can also make ravages if you choose. Keep injecting. So the big thing here is pulling behind your hatchery, right? So many times there we were like, I gotta fight, I gotta micro, I gotta look at my army. No, click back. Always click back, inject, build units. Then you can micro for a while. So you can go forward now. Now you've got a good army together. But it's not much micro you need to do here, right? So once he gets too far off creep, we can just pull back, inject, build units. So what we've done is we've found a very high pressure situation, and we found a way to find our rhythm in it, right? Whereas before we were like, fuck, I gotta look at the front, gotta look at the front, gotta look at the front, gotta look at the front. Deep breath, keep the rhythm. You just keep building these units, you're gonna smash this so hard, man. You got this. Yep. Inject, inject, inject. Keep building. That's it, that's it. Yes, my man. Control grouping the eggs as well. Get him. And even losing that hatch. Don't even care about it. I mean, you've got so many units. You go kill him now, right? At a certain point, you go, yeah, we can chase off creep. We don't need to keep respecting this. You've got roach speed as well. You do have to actually chase him though. Like, there's no reason to stay here. Yeah, go kill him. Yeah, just go win the game. So you can rebuild your third. You can even take a fourth if you want. And basically just try to kill your opponent here, because you've got such a huge advantage. Alright. Bit more map awareness. I don't know if you realized there were stalkers fighting you there.
No, I didn't.
You did, yeah. Bit more scrolling around there. Just a little bit more. But just find that
From
rhythm
behind.
in the midst of the chaos, and you will kick ass, right? Because we were kind of staring at the front and staring at the front and staring at the front. Pulling your queens to the front like that is one of the most dangerous maneuvers. This is something we all fall into as a Zerg player. You go, fuck, I gotta hold on. I need the queens. I need the queens. And the moment he pulled back off creep and pulled his prism back, you actually needed to immediately snap, recall the fact that injects are the most important thing, and go inject, inject. Pull back behind the hatch, go back to injecting. If we didn't do that, your production was drying up actually really hard. You only had one queen injecting in the main, and even that wasn't injecting consistently because you were so focused on the front. So just, yeah, take a deep breath, pull behind the hatch. Don't chase them off creep unless you're really confident there. The important thing is just A-move the fights wherever possible and try to keep your macro up. Whenever you can pull back way behind the fight, you remember how you clicked back from, like, you were maybe half a screen in front of the hatchery, and then you'd click way behind the hatch. And that gives you 10 full seconds before they can actually chase that army down and force a fight again. So you don't need to look at your army at all in that 10 seconds.
Okay. At first, should I pull queens first and then send them back, or should I just leave them as injecting?
Still pull them.
Don't pull them.
Still pull them. If you have extra minerals, you can replace them as well. So what you do, what I do sometimes, if I have the money, if I'm comfortable enough, that was a scary attack, so you wouldn't have done it there, and you didn't have enough minerals. But if you did, you actually can like bring these queens to the front, but you actually build 2 new queens. So at least you'll have new injecting queens popping out in like 40 seconds, which can, take over from them.
Okay.
But I think the way you did it was fine. Pull them to the front, and then once you pushed it back his prism a little, go back to injecting with them. Just send them back to that. So I think that's totally fine. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was quite helpful.
So
I must admit.
the moment it drags out, right? I guess is like the decision there. It's like if it's like just a sudden all in, yeah, get the queens to the front. Any little bit of support can help, right? But the moment they're like microing in and out or back and forth on the edge of creep, you're like, okay, let's go back to injecting. The moment it drags out, back to injecting, and I think that rhythm in the chaos, right? Pull way back, inject, build units, control group eggs, micro units until they pull far back, then rinse and repeat. Awesome. Let's host. Ooh, how long have we been going? We started.
Oh, we have.
Okay,
Yeah,
we are pretty much
it's
out
an
of time.
hour. It's an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, I would really. Okay, so I think we've got most of the notes there. You just need reps, right? And I think what Sky9 just did was a really good test for you. So
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest Sky9 to the party, and I'm also going to suggest Cliggity, and I would love those two to play some games with you. You guys can alternate. And just, if you guys are around, if you guys can all play for another hour, just grind some games, or another half an hour, even just a few more customs, it would be amazing, especially because there'll be a pros player watching as well, so they can maybe give some feedback. But it's just get some reps in now while it's fresh, get used to this. Obviously, if they all in, like in that game, it's literally just any other Roachling opening, like Roach opening, right? It's just a 3-base build. Oh, he's attacking build Roaches. We don't even get to the Muta stage. So it's good. It's good because we're trying to separate, and it's a normal macro opening, then we're going into Mutas. We're not like, it's just a Muta build. Lair at 100 gas, make Spire. Let's hope he doesn't attack me. That can work, but it's obviously silly. If some Protoss players die to that because they're just not used to it. They're like, it's a fast Lair, it's a Nidus. They're like building Immortals and like 5 Mutas flying. They're like, what? Who does this? This is crazy. But it's a big gamble. So I think we've got a good build order there. We've got clear stages. Are there questions floating around in your head? Is there anything here that doesn't make sense as you look over these notes and you kind of think about this situation that we're going to be going into?
About the situation, I think I like the new game plan, so it's really helpful to have one because I hadn't. I just had this one question, which I often see it at games when I that okay, we have the Protoss opening is like Gateway, Nexus, Stargate, Cybercore, and at the tech, right? That's how usually players do. But when I play games, I often see the next usual gate afterwards,
Yeah.
And I'm always wondering, why do they now playing another gate? It's just to complete their wall mostly.
Yeah, it's
so
because they don't know the difference between a 13-12, 17 pool, and a hatch first. They just see it as it's a Zerg player. So these are just players who aren't reacting. They've basically just died to Zerglings a few times. So they just always build a gateway. So they're not actually scouting. Even if they probe scout, they have no idea what they're looking at when they probe scout. It's very common. So just ignore it. It just means he's doing an inefficient build. It means his tech's going to be a little bit later than normal. Awesome. It just means his build's a bit worse.
Okay.
Nothing to
Brilliant.
react to, right? Don't react to it. Yeah, just go, oh, his build's a bit shit. When you watch the replay, you'll go, yeah, this is a bad build. Your tech's late. One of the biggest problems most Protoss players have on the ladder is they get past kind of like Plat 3, Plat 2, and they never move into like actually getting their tech out on time. When you're in Bronze, Silver, Gold, low Plat, totally fine to have later tech. Once you get to Diamond and you're still building your tech structure at 3 minutes, like what was that replay which was like 340, he put down his Stargate, and I was like, what are you hoping to achieve from this? Like there is literally, like you could have built 85 workers in that Triton game and been maxed out when he pushed out with 100 supply. It was like 14 Stalkers, 2 Sentries, and a Void Ray. Like you could have been maxed out so easily. So it's literally just they're not reacting to what's happening in the game. They're trying to play overly safe because they've been traumatized by Zerg, and they're not adapting or scouting at all. And they've tried to find like a one-size-fits-all response. So it's kind of like Alpha Star with bad mechanics. It's just trying to find some generic way of winning the game without actually scouting and actively looking for what the opponent's doing. Yeah. Don't even react to it. It's just
Okay.
It's not actually that bad. I play players who do forge openings in GM, and I still lose to them sometimes. It's not that big an inefficiency. It's a small one, so don't read too much into it.
Okay. I try.
All right. It's just a slight inefficiency. Just added that to the notes. Awesome. All right, man. Good luck in your practice. Host up some more games. I am going to hop out of the party. Host up a few more maps with those guys. Big thank you to Cliggity and Thingo for helping you out. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate the help. Play some more customs, please. Cheese and macro the shit out of Michael. Give you some good serious practice.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, man. Good sesh. So yeah, have a good night, man. Hit me up whenever you're ready to set up another one. Wait. So yeah, I'm going to Home Story Cup next week, so we won't get to do one for a little bit. That's fine. I mean, I'm only gone for 1 week for Home Story, so I'll be back late November. I think I get back on the 27th. So
okay.
Should be good.
Right.
So just shoot me an email whenever you want to set up another one, and we'll set it up.
Yeah, thank you so much for your help. That was really, it's always really nice. So
No worries, man. Thanks for keeping the good attitude and kicking some ass. Good luck.
yeah. Thank you. I try.
Good night, Michael. I'll catch you later.
Good night.
Awesome. Good little sesh there, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions I didn't answer, please repost them. I'm going to answer Johnny Up's. Is it more optimal to order Zerglings to go behind the enemy and then A-move so they surround it faster instead of just A-move from the side? Yeah, if you have enough. I mean, if you've only got a few Zerglings in there, they're just going to be to absorb damage anyway. They're not really going to get behind, so you might as well just A-move. It's like if you've got like mass Zerglings, yeah, you want to try and surround the Stalkers, but generally speaking, you'd be better off splitting your army and coming from behind in the first place. Always easier if you can A-move. But good stuff.